Unfortunately, Bishop, we have 3 honorees, so we have 3 speeches. Only Jim. I want to thank Emily and Jim Choma and their entire staff, including Michael Locke, for putting this evening together. As always, the room looks beautiful, and I want to thank Richard and his team, our consultants in the back over there, who always do such a wonderful job. And I think we can all agree that this evening certainly makes each one of us feel very special. I want to recognize our sponsor, Bishop Paul Bukowski. Last month, Bishop Paul entered the 13th year as Bishop of Metuchen. Bishop, congratulations, I think, might be in order, but more importantly, I want to say from the bottom of our hearts that throughout these years, your support of this healthcare ministry in New Brunswick has been steadfast, your convictions have remained strong, and you certainly are every definition of a true leader. Thank you for being here. I want to also welcome Mayor and Mrs. Cahill. Obviously, they're here not simply because we honor the city of New Brunswick tonight, but because they are longtime friends of St. Peter's, and they have been with us for the past several years. Thank you for being here. In a special way, I want to recognize, although from the bottom of our hearts, we thank all of you who have supported this dinner. I do want to thank Joan and Bob Campbell, who are here this evening, who really helped underwrite a large portion of this event. Thank you very much. So tonight is a little different because we're breaking with tradition. Instead of honoring an individual, we are doing our best. Hold on. Instead of honoring an individual, we've decided to honor a city, and we can get to that in a moment. But we also have broken with tradition this evening because we have decided to start our annual Physician Appreciation Awards. And 2 individuals this evening most deserving of those awards will be presented with them in a few minutes. Dr. Bipin Patel and Dr. Malin. Now, I must share with you the fact that Dr. Katari is my personal physician. And what I have learned about Nyan is that he is a true practitioner of medicine. He knows the body, but he knows the body very, very well. A few years ago, I called him up on a Saturday afternoon and I said, Nyan, my left cheek is swelling, I'm in severe pain, I can hardly talk, and he said, come to my office. I went to Nyan's office, he looked at me, and within seconds he said, just go suck a lemon, and he dismissed me from his office. At first, my reaction was, wow, one of my biggest supporters at St. Peter's. But actually, I went, I sucked that lemon, and that salivary gland that had become infected soon healed. Nyan is also a man who teams his medicine with true compassion. I know this from a personal level because a year and a half ago, a very dear aunt of mine was diagnosed with terminal cancer and given only days to live. Nyan took over her case from another institution. He worked with her and her family. He and his assistant, Joni Lynn, went to their house every chance they could. She was periodically admitted to our hospital, but all because of his efforts and Joni's efforts and the efforts of the staff of St. Peter's, my Aunt Flo lived for a year and a half longer than anyone ever thought of, and we, as a family, were reunited once again. Thank you, Nyan, so much for that. Bipin Patel. He's steadfast, but sometimes stubborn. But he is a visionary, because Bipin is single-handedly to be credited with the vision for our children's hospital and working with a great team of nurses and physicians in growing our children's facility into the best in the state. Last year, we were number 2 in pediatrics, and Nikki was number 1, and Bippen, it all goes to your leadership, and I thank you so much for that. And when the bishop a few years ago said that he wanted to start a mission in Guatemala, Bippen was the one who agreed to head that mission. And he headed that mission, and he brought physicians and nurses over there and staff. He grew facilities over there, and today, the province of Santa Rosa, Guatemala, where when he first got there, had the highest infant mortality rate in the world, today has hardly any infant mortality rate. He is recognized by the government of Guatemala, who's asked him to take his services throughout that country. He certainly is a legend beyond our borders. And congratulations, Bippen, for all you do. So, finally, how do you honor a city? I mean, first you really have to think about what is a city. Well, you know, the dictionary doesn't help us very well. If you look up in Webster's, basically they say a city is a municipality that has more people than a town and is more important than a town. Well, that's pretty subjective. As a matter of fact, last year the Rockefeller Foundation commissioned a study of cities across the country, and they realized that throughout history, inhabitants of local towns would simply name wherever they were living the city because it made them feel important. As a matter of fact, according to the foundation, they said go to the United States Midwest, and you'll see that every town that had a one brothel main street somehow became a city over time. If you look again at further definition, you'll see cities are supposed to be incorporated by a state, and again, they say large in population. Well, certainly New Brunswick fits that bill. I mean, we were incorporated in 1784, and we have a larger population than many municipalities in the state. But that doesn't mean New Brunswick is important. Why is New Brunswick so important? Well, Herb Cain, who was a daily columnist for the San Francisco Chronicle for over 60 years, writing every day about the people of San Francisco and their daily lives, once commented that what makes a city great is not its length and its width, but rather the broadness of its vision and the height of its dreams. Often, cities are known by their slogans. Now, some slogans are official. Most slogans in New Jersey aren't so official. Just consider some in our state. Trenton makes, the world takes. Sadly refers to lost industry in steel and porcelain. Patterson, the Silk City, reminds us of an era that passed with the dawn of the 20th century. Fort Lee was the birthplace of the motion picture industry, at least if you talk to someone in Fort Lee. And Atlantic City's creditors could hardly ever say today that that town and that city is America's playground. Other municipalities celebrate defining geographic characteristics that make them different. Byram Township, the Township of Lakes. Hoboken, the Mile Square City. Perth Amboy, the city by the bay. While others brag of not so defining geographic characteristics. Rutherford, the borough of trees? I think I saw one outside this hotel. One town in New Jersey boosts or tries to boost the ego of its populace. Metuchen, the brainy borough. Bishop, you care to comment? Okay, we won't either. But New Brunswick brands itself the healthcare city. And this is a slogan that invokes a reality, both the past and the present. It is a guidepost for its future, and it explains the city's vision, and it defines its collective civic dream. It bears witness to a century plus, in some cases, in others, decades-old institutions whose original mission have long gone beyond the borders of the city to serve much broader communities. Rutgers, Johnson & Johnson, St. Peter's, Robert Wood Johnson, RWJ Medical School, the Cancer Institute of New Jersey, and PSC&G Children's Specialized Hospital, all working for the benefit of the disenfranchised and the enfranchised alike. It speaks to the many health and wellness initiatives to be found at our Hal Lane Clinic and the Robert Wood Johnson Chandler Clinic downtown. Not to mention those same initiatives that are to be found in our social clubs and our houses of worship. It is enhanced by the efforts of political, educational, business, social, and religious leaders who understand that healthy populations require not only access to medical care, but also secure streets, progressive education, fresh food, adequate housing, safe workplaces, and readily available transportation. Community leaders here, such as Mayor Cahill, Bob Campbell, Chris Palladino, and the late John Helfrich, all understood this and worked over the years and decades to build an infrastructure to truly better the health of our citizenry. And every day, medical professionals like Nyan and Bippen work hard and take that laboring board in caring for those who suffered despite these social and civic efforts. Former New York Governor and 1928 presidential campaign candidate Al Smith once told a vaudeville actor who was performing right across the street at the State Theater, and after the performance fell on a sidewalk, Smith said to him, "If I had to fall, I'd rather fall on the sidewalks of New York City rather than the sidewalks of New Brunswick." Well, guess what? Al Smith didn't even carry Middlesex County in the 1928 presidential election. Can you go figure? Middlesex County and the Democrat loses? Well, just desserts for Mr. Smith. I dare say, if he were here today, he would see the New Brunswick that has been built today. He would sound a very different note, echoing what so many of us often say when in need of a good meal out, recreational entertainment, first-class performing arts, educational endeavors, satisfying careers, or most importantly, world-class medical care. I'd rather be here than any place else. God bless. God bless the city of New Brunswick. God bless its people. God bless its leaders, political and religious. New Brunswick, may your visions broaden and may your dreams always soar. And to our three awardees tonight, the city of New Brunswick and our two distinguished physicians, I say to you in my native language of Polish, stola. Stola. Which means may you live and prosper for 100 and more years because of us. Meaning, may you live and prosper for 100 years because you three are an integral part of our lives. Thank you very much.